So I'm 15 hours into Dragon Age Veilguard, playing on the highest difficulty, and oh boy, I've got so much to share. Usually 15 hours is about a third of the way through a game, so let's dive in. Is it comfy or is it chaos? So, starting off with the character creator, there's like so many options for the face. You can be a total cutie, a real meaty looking warrior, but there aren't a lot of body options. You can't change your muscles, and you can't have options for a big booba or a big booty, sadly. And what's weird is that there's options to change the bulge size of your character. So I find that really weird that that thing is in there, but you can't do these other things. So I wish they would just let you customize everything, right? I think what really stands out is the costumes, and oh my gosh, they're really cool. Each one of them is themed to match a faction. So you know how they have the elves, the assassins, the Antivin Crow, the Grey Warden Knights, and Lords of Fortune. All of the costumes fit their individual themes, and they're really good. Now the next thing is that there's a lot to collect in the game, and if you love collecting stuff, the shops are really interesting. There's a shop for each of the factions, and you can buy and trade between these, and you can level up your reputation, and you can collect a bunch of armor. You can get things like common armor, rare armor, and you can keep upgrading it all the way up. And you can also upgrade their strength and go from like +1, +2, and so on and so forth. So it's giving that whole like Pokemon vibe, gotta catch them all. But wait, before you get too carried away on collecting, let's talk about the side quest. So up until this point, I've actually ignored all the side quests and I just did only main quests. But I found out that if you explore and do these side quests, you'll find upgrades for your health bar and your skills. Level ups don't give you more health, but exploration does. And if you skip out on too many of these, you might find yourself in trouble when you're fighting bosses, So the most important thing now for the RPG, the combat. I think the combat is super smooth and fast paced. You can switch between two different weapon types. So I'm playing a mage, and I can switch from my orb and dagger and go with my staff if I want to. But there is one problem with combat. If an enemy is on the stairs or higher ground, your attacks will miss. And I mean your projectiles or whatever you're doing just won't hit them. Now I don't know if the rogue or warrior has the same issue, but it's happening a lot for my mage. Aside from that, skill points are really fun to spend, and the way that you build your character reminds me of Diablo. So it's really fun experimenting with builds and just trying things. And enemies hit really hard, by the way, so you have to make sure your build is the best type of build to fight that type of enemy. And there's different types of enemies, and they're weak to different elements and stuff. Now, let's talk about the story. And gosh, I have a lot of thoughts about the story. I think the story itself is really good. The plot is great, the places you visit, and there's a lot of cool twists that keep me hooked, But the dialogue, it feels like it was written by someone else entirely, and not in a good way. It's like they swapped the original writer and had someone who never played a fantasy game before do it, Some of the lines in the dialogue are super awkward and don't fit the vibe at all. It's not good, okay? Also, you guys, have probably seen the memes surrounding the game, and I have too myself. But in my 15 hours of playing, I actually haven't encountered any of that stuff. So that makes me feel super anxious because I'm like, am I gonna run into that later? Or, you know, is it just not there? Has it just been blown out of proportion? But anyway, the next thing is unlocking party members. So if you've seen the trailers and you saw like a character that you really like, sometimes you might have to like play through the story more to actually unlock them and recruit them. So just be patient and just keep playing, okay? So that's all I have for now, and there's still a lot of adventure ahead, so stay tuned for another update. Please don't forget to subscribe and comment if you're excited for more videos, and you can also check out my links below if you would like to support me elsewhere. Thank you so much everyone, and see you again next time.